a few years ago, about 5 years ago, I tried to learn computer coding, or I said if I can't do that, then I would learn a foreign language. So now I speak Spanish.
Okay. Do you speak Spanish?
Yes. Sí.
This is Sheer Isolation. It's presented by Kieran Moore in Trowbridge and John Ponting in Cricklade.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is Sheer Isolation. I am John in Cricklade, and Kieran is joining me from Trowbridge via Zoom. Hello, Kieran.
Hello, John. How you doing?
Very well. Surprisingly well, thank you. Yes.
Surprisingly well.
I don't know why. I'm having a bit of a buzz at the moment. It could be because I was experimenting with some baking, and I'm trying to make some vegan millionaire shortbread, and I cannot make vegan caramel that sets. So I've got a fridge full of runny vegan caramel. So I'm just, every time I open the fridge, spoonful of runny caramel. Yum.
Maybe that is what is doing it, John. Maybe that's what's doing it. Have you tried freezing it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That helped.
Anyway, this is not a baking show. This is Sheer Isolation. We talk about and highlight local music and art projects and developments that are happening across the west of England. We're going to play a couple of tunes in the next half hour, and we're going to talk to an absolutely fascinating guest, Dave Hartland from the Cotswold Sculpture Park, which is based just down the road from me, actually on the water park out by Cirencester. So we're talking to him not just about his sculpture park, but also the fact that he's got a new amphitheatre, outside amphitheatre venue, and he's planning on using that over the summer for music and various art shows.
I mean, John, just as an introduction there, I mean, how many times do you get to say that someone's built their own amphitheatre?
Well, it's the first for me.
Well, I think it's the first for a lot of people, and it's genuinely really interesting and exciting. So I'm quite excited to see how this develops over the coming weeks.
I always like to start the show, Kieran, by asking you what you've been up to this week. I have been gig-free this week, for shame.
For shame, John. Well, as you'd expect, I was insanely busy, and this week was no exception. So, Friday night, we had Martin Carthy, the legendary British folk musician, Martin Carthy. He's into his 80s now. He is an undisputed heavyweight of folk music. He is the absolute pinnacle of living folk musicians, certainly in the UK at least. And he was just brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Saturday day and night, all day, was the Village Pump Festival. So I ran the stage at the Village Pump, the actual pump room, my venue. And that was utterly just wonderfully, brilliantly fantastic, as you'd expect. Headlined by the Model Folk. Now, if you don't know the Model Folk, do check them out. There is an element of trad music going on there, some element of trad jazz, an element of trad folk, 7-piece, it's brass, acoustics. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful music.
Last time I booked the Model Folk, there's only 5 of them, so they've grown.
They've grown. Well, you know the Model Folk, so you know what I've just said is absolutely legit.
Nicely put. And on top of all that, you've also picked the first track for this week's show. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. It looks French.
Deux Furieuses, I think is how you pronounce it. I think it loosely translates to something along the lines of 2 fires or something like that. I will Google it in a minute and find out properly. But this is a song that they only released last week. They only released it last week. They had its video premiere on XFM, which was done by John Kennedy. So we're really talking about a band that are in all the right places right now. And this is a track called Know the Score.
Home
that was Deux Furieuses with their song Know the Score. Now, what's significant about this band is that they're signed to Extra Mile, home of Frank Turner et al. And they did play for us earlier this year at Earth in London, where they did 2 songs with a full orchestra as their backing band. And it was powerful, strong, loud, incredible stuff. And that was a amphitheatre, a big stone Victorian amphitheatre, well, actually wooden one, big wooden Victorian amphitheatre. What we're going to have them play in is a converted barn in front of 70 people. So from the Sublime to the Ridiculous, that is Deux Furieuses, and they'll be performing in Trowbridge this weekend. So I will report back next week, John, of how magnificent it was, presuming that it is magnificent. Cool,
thanks for that, Kieran. The translation is the Two Furious.
The Two Furious.
You were close. Yeah. Let's cover product placement. You are in your loft of dreams. Have you got something to show off?
And unfortunately not, John, no.
Oh. This is becoming the running theme of the piece here now.
Although Roger from Sound Knowledge has texted me today to say that 2 of my records are in and that he's going to bring them back for me. So I'll probably go and collect them Saturday morning or something.
Okay.
I'm quite excited about that. I've got the new Cave In album. I've got the new Axis of album. And I've got an American artist who I don't know. But I bought the record anyway because I heard one song and thought it was great. But she's like found sounds, but also really light kind of blues. It's really strange, but I'm really excited to listen to the whole album. So also, John, in other news, I do have Spotify now. You know how I'm like really anti-streaming and particularly anti-Spotify? I did get Spotify for some reason. I can't remember why. And then I haven't got rid of it yet. And I am actually enjoying it.
Did you get it to listen to the podcast by any chance?
I did actually, yeah. And now I listen to it on the train and everywhere I go.
Yeah. Right. We should probably talk about this week's guest, who is Dave Hartland, who is from the Cotswold Sculpture Park. For people who aren't familiar with the Cotswold Sculpture Park, it is what it says on the tin. It is kind of a trail through some lovely woodlands and gardens, and there's art installations all the way along the path. As well as that, there's all kinds of other things that they do there. We talk about Dave's new amphitheater because he is the handyman to the extreme. He would just build absolutely everything there. I just thought he'd be a really interesting person to chat to. So as we do Issue Isolation, we invited him on, and this is what he had to say. You and your family, pretty much, you've set it up from scratch, and you've just taken the helm and just created this amazing location. So do you want to start by giving us a bit of background about how that came about?
Yeah, I mean, I picked it up about 29 years ago. It was a sort of thistle field, and we sort of planted trees and things like that, and it sort of evolved from there, really. But the latest project, obviously the amphitheater, was put together in January, for performance arts, and sort of music and things like that. And it's basically, it's an open page, so we don't know which way it's going to go. So, but look forward to the journey.
Straight away, you just want to pick up on the fact that you bought it 29 years ago. That's some vision.
Yeah, there was never that vision. I'd love to say there was that vision, but it wasn't. You sort of go through all the same hurdles. I bought myself a piece of land. What do I do now? People get chickens. I'll go and get some chickens. So I went and bought some chickens, and then I tried starting up a little sort of market garden, propagating my own plants, bushes, shrubs, all that kind of stuff. Sold Christmas trees. A lot of people around here locally will know me for Christmas trees, or know me as Christmas Tree Dave, because I was doing that for 25 years. A few holiday lets, a bit of glamping, and then always interested in sort of art. Never went through college or anything like that doing art, but I just like shapes and movement and structure of steel and shape basically, and started creating my own sculpture. And from there, sort of took it on and invited other people onto the land, and then in the end sort of opened up a sculpture park, which we've been running for 6 years.
I didn't realize just how many sculptures you got. You got over 200 installations on your grounds, and it's just walking along the footpath and just finding all these, some tiny, some massive, quite a lot of your own. I noticed around the place. Very talented artist yourself, Dave. But how did that build up? Did you know a artist friend and you put it on display and then it grew from there, or was it more channeled than that?
No, when I was getting feedback on my own work 6 years ago, people were coming around and enjoying bits and pieces that I made, and I thought, well, it's like why not include other people? So, I sat down and went through lists of artists, and I probably for sort of maybe 500-600 artists I got in touch with, which are probably pretty well most of them in England. I know there's a few more. I got about sort of, I don't know, maybe 15-20 replies. So the first year I did it, I had about 20 artists, but now we got something like sort of 60 artists, and we don't have to phone around to get artists. Artists get in touch with us now because we sell a lot of work. People join the experience. We got a little tea room here, which my daughter runs. People come down, and art is very popular at the moment for garden and interior use.
And so you've grown it from there, and not just stopping at the Christmas trees and the art. As you mentioned, this year you also built an amphitheatre, which I think can seat over 100 people. Is that about right?
It'll seat about 120 people. Yeah, but the connection with the amphitheatre and art was actually we sold a piece of art to a lovely local gent who was doing a sort of grand design style building on a piece of land, and he phoned me up and sort of said, Dave, I've got 200 tons of Cotswold stone brash. Are you interested in it? To which I sort of said yes. So I collected the Cotswold stone brash, and needed to find a use for it.
Is that just you had all this stone, and then you're like, well, what can I build out of this? Where can I build it?
Yeah, it's funny. I think, as you go through life, you sort of see different things, and, you don't really take much notice of them. But sort of, they are taken into the back, into your mind. You sort of, when you have a situation, you go, well, I could do that, And it sounds crazy, but I went to a school and there was an amphitheater at the school. And I just remember this amazing feeling, that it sort of gave, sort of unity of people coming together for performance. And, I just thought, it was a beautiful thing. And I thought it'd be nice to sort of create that in a woodland area.
So what's your plan now that you've got it?
I suppose I haven't really got too many plans. The fact that is that, it's built now. So what we're hoping is, just having conversations with people. There's people who sort of turn up or, you hear about who put on Shakespeare performance or otherwise music or storytelling or whatever. So it's just building up a number of sort of, getting together with a whole lot of artists and sort of just putting on performances throughout the year, which I'm really looking forward to do. It's not something I've done before. And I think hopefully my daughter's going to take it on. And sort of, enjoy the journey, see where it takes us.
So I went to the Bath Americana Museum, or the Museum of America in Bath, just the weekend just gone, and they've got a natural amphitheatre in their garden, which is just chunks they've cut out of the lawn, and it goes down to sort of a flat.
Lovely.
And it's simple, effective, wonderful. And I saw a artist called Patchlarks who they do like kids theatre where they tell a story, the story of now, and the audience tell the story. So like they'll pick something out of the story and they'll get audience participation. It's really simple, really effective theatre that doesn't require any technical setup, because they just talk to the audience, they just shout, because it's only 100 people, so you can all hear each other, and he plays an accordion. Absolutely sensational. And when I think of like theatre, inverted commas, you've just mentioned Shakespeare, etc., and I'm thinking of these elaborate setups. It doesn't have to be that way. We can be really simple, but still really, really effective. So don't, if you're going out there to try and find stuff, don't be afraid to think outside the box, because you've done that already. So I think you've got potential there to do some amazing things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like anything with a twist. It's got to be a little bit different. But I'm in a conversation. Hopefully, I'll see if I can book them up. There's someone went to see a little group called the Handlebards. And I think it's a group of five men who cycle from John O'Groats to Land's End. Other way round. Sorry, Land's End to John O'Groats on bicycles with all the kit they need to put on performances on the way, and they do Shakespeare on the way, and they just put a little twist and they carry everything on their backs. So we'll try and get hold of them. They're supposed to be fantastic. So look forward to sort of trying to get in touch with them and bringing them along.
That sounds amazing. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just adding another string. So I'm curious to know what you're going to do next. You've had the sculpture park for 6 years. Now you're moving into a bit more entertainment. You've got the cafe there. You do your own sculpting. You've got your glamping and your overnight stay accommodation there as well. What else can you do?
I don't know, John. Maybe get a bit more space. We sort of looked at weddings and stuff. But no, I think maybe just enjoy the space we've got. and maybe sort of concentrate on landscaping, just bringing a sort of sculpture park, so people can relate to it. So, have different sort of areas, sort of different style work, different style planting. So it sort of relates to other people in their own gardens.
So I'm just going to try and embarrass you now, Dave, because I've learned from your handyman skills that you've built your own house. You've adapted this bit of land that you bought into this amazing sculpture park with incredible trees and foliage and gardens all over the place. You've converted some old huts and even an old water tower into a guest accommodation. You've now built your own amphitheater. You do all your sculptures, like you've got you've got an old Beetle car, isn't it, up on top of a massive 40-foot high stack of engines.
Moggy Miner, yeah.
I mean, I don't know where you find. Did you actually sleep at all?
I do sleep a lot. Yeah, not quite as much as I used to. I'd love to, but sometimes the body just doesn't want to do it. But normally, sort of active mind. But no, I'm sort of. I've obviously got involved with that tree you're talking about with the Moggy Miner on the top. Quite a lot of people know that was a piece of Glastonbury work. And hopefully I'll get more involved with festival work. So that sort of interests me. And you go through the whole festival theme of, going out for a weekend, having the music and all that kind of thing as well.
That's an interesting point, because I think quite a few festivals are kind of diverting away just from having a music stage and having more art and activities. Like I was at a festival a couple of weeks ago where they were doing axe throwing, which just 5 years ago, you'd never see that at a festival. So I really think that's a good call.
Well, you'd like to know that I run a festival, or I will be next year. So maybe there's a way of getting you to come down and exhibit some wonderful outdoor sculptures.
Absolutely. Yep. Never say no. Always open for a conversation.
Fantastic.
Cool. Dave, if people want to find a bit more about the sculpture park and everything that's going on there, what's the best way of finding out? What's your website? What's your details?
Yeah, Cotswold Sculpture Park. If you go on the website, it'll have up and coming events. We had a rehearsal last night with Xavier Leret, who's a storyteller. He turns stories into music, and it went very well. It's the first performance we've had in the Amphitheater, and it was absolutely brilliant. So he's going to do another 5 performances through this year on the 9th, 16th, and every Tuesday after that. Details are on the website. Really looking forward to people coming out and really enjoying that experience. So but I mean, it's all on the website. All the information's on the website. So if you want to come out to enjoy the art, sculpture, and all that, we're closed Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but otherwise we're open throughout the week.
Yeah, really pleasant walk around as well, and just down the road from the lakes and the water park. So put your kayak on top of the car as well. See a bit of art in the morning. Go for a paddle in the afternoon.
That's the one.
Cool. Thanks for that, Dave. Anything else from yourself, Kieran?
No, that's wonderful. I'm really excited. I'm literally just gone to your website now. I'm just looking at it and I'm just thinking, wow, some of it is utterly stunning.
Yeah, there is some amazing work out there. We're very fortunate to have a good relationship with a lot of really, classy, well-known artists as well. And but pieces sort of vary from, we got something almost worth quarter of £1,000,000, which sounds incredible, to something you can take away, for £25. Yeah. So it covers the whole range.
We always ask our guests to pick a track, maybe something from a local artist. What was the name of the guy who was playing last night?
Xavier Leret. It's not your usual run-of-the-mill stuff. I mean, he actually had his own theatre company 25 years ago called Chaos Theatre. So he's got more of a theatrical background. And the songs he's doing out here are the highs and lows of people who he's actually met through his life. And there's a lot of darker times. So he's dealing with mental health issues as well. So the performances will be about that.
the track we've just played, the artist is Xavier Leret. That tune is Catch My Breath, because we couldn't find the track that David mentioned in the interview. And if you want to see him, he is playing at the Cotswold Sculpture Park Amphitheater over the summer. He's doing, I think he's doing 5 gigs over the summer there in the evenings, kind of after hours. So great excuse to go along, check out the sculpture trail, just spend some time at the water park, because whether you're into swimming or not, there's plenty of stuff to do there. And and then catch some music in the evening. Good night and fascinating interview, Kieran.
Yeah, it's a really interesting interview. And I'm now going to organise a double date with you, and we're going to go up and finish off the rest of the sculpture tour. So it does sound, I looked at it online, it looks great. So, and an amphitheatre, I need to look at that too. So I've got ideas popping up in my head, John.
Do you have any news, Kieran?
So Trowbridge Town Hall has now got finished for the summer, and we were having the next sort of 5 weeks off of music. There's no music there. The Village Pump is winding up for the summer, so we've got another set of gigs this weekend and next weekend, and then we're going to have a few weeks off. And then coming back at the end of August with Emily Barker, and then kicking off again properly in September. So I'm trying to have a few weeks off from this absolutely crazy wall-to-wall eventing. And my body needs to reset and recover.
You do raise an interesting question, because we are now in August, in peak summer, with the kids out of school. Does that change your pattern, or for smaller music venues like the town hall and the ones that you're dealing with, does that change what you would normally do?
Yeah, it does for us. I've seen other venues like the Vic in Swindon are absolutely ploughing on as business as usual. And because I've tried to get the odd show in for, like, we had James and the Coal Gun asked us for a gig. So we wanted to do it in Swindon. I did look up all the websites, and all the venues in Swindon are chock-a-block. And it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Whereas if you look at over in Trowbridge, we've all quietened down. And now I don't know any of the deals that the Swindon bands are on and how it's all going to affect them. But I've always found in the summer, attendances are lower. So we're not going to try and flog a dead horse or, get people to do things they don't really want to do. So instead, we're taking the opportunity for a break. So, but credit to any venue or group of people that are continuing to go ahead. It is tough work. So good luck to them.
All right, then. In that case, we'll just talk about a couple of events now. Just as we're recording this, the gates are just opening at WOMAD down the road from me. Now, that one is just down the road. I could probably walk to that one.
Oh, John, WOMAD,
Flaming Lips, K-Tempest, Selector, didn't get tickets. Well, we've spent our festival budget wisely, I think. We may have missed one this year, but we've done all right this year.
Have you bought tickets for next year's trees, John?
Do you know what? I haven't, because I was thinking I'm going to spend it on, I'll see what the lineup's like, but I'm not jumping into trees straight away this time.
Good luck, my friend.
Well,
good luck.
As much as I love trees, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year. And I'm thinking I might need to reset and find another 3,000 festival and then watch that expand. Maybe.
You know what? I think that's a fair enough observation and comment, John.
I'm trying not to make that sound like I'm a hipster, but at the same time, it's quite a busy festival now.
Well, John, I can suggest there'll be a lovely festival in Trowbridge in July next year with a capacity between 500 and 3,000. So see you there.
Tempting. Cool. Few things that are happening towards the end of next week. So let's look at the 5th and the 7th, that weekend of August. Festival on the Farm, which is out in Purton, a village near Swindon. As it suggests, it's a festival and it's on farmland. It's another one of those which has lots of local acts on during the day, and then they get some bigger acts on in the evening. So they've got a band called XTC, but it's EXTC. It does contain one of the members from XTC, but it is a different band. And they've also got a Queen tribute, and they've got some 80s tributes going on as well as the headliners, and then they've got local acts during the day. So that's Festival on the Farm, 5th till 7th of August. Down in Bristol, you've got Valley Fest, the same weekend. That's in Chew Valley rather than Bristol. But they've got Travis, they've got Ronnie Size, and they've got Craig Charles. So
Travis.
Some good names there.
Yeah.
And that's probably all we've got time for today. So I will just say my usual bits. If you want to get in touch, sheerisolation@gmail.com, or you can find previous shows on sheerisolation.co.uk, or come on to Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, iTunes, wherever. That's about it from me, Kieran. Anything from yourself, sir?
No, I'm very happy to be here, and I'm much more organised this week, and hopefully next week and the week after and the week after too, now that I've got a bit more time and things are slowing down.
Oh, yes, that's good. Still didn't get any product placement though, did you?
No. Sorry.
Never mind. No, Kieran, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back same time, same place next week. Cheers. Thanks all. Bye
Take care.
now.
Bye.